If you're anything like me, you start the year off with goals and expectations. And if you're also like me, by February and March, life starts lifing and you completely abandon everything. And while 2023 wasn't terrible, in fact, it was filled with a lot of great moments, I had no plan, no goals, and halfway through the year, I felt like I was living complete chaos. So I started off 2024 a little different. So in 2023, I posted a video about my plans for 2024 and my word for the year, which is consistency. I heard this message by DIARIES Daniels, and he talked about how dangerous our consistency is to the devil. As long as we stay in the same place, as long as we never progress, never reach our full potential, then we're not a threat. And sadly, consistency has been my problem. So instead of doing things like I've always done, I decided to make a change. But not any change. A well thought out, intentional change in my habits and lifestyle. As a special education teacher, something I constantly remind the gen ed teacher is that when you are dealing with a student with difficult behaviors, it takes time to change that behavior. In fact, it takes 21 days to form a new habit and 90 days for it to become a lifestyle. And with kids, there's a whole different other math that goes into that. But that is 21 days of consistently working on that behavior and continuing consistently to the 90-day mark. The thing I realized about consistency is that it affects every part of our lives. And when we try to build new habits and change our lives, if we aren't consistent, we're never going to see any growth or change in our lives. So like DIARIES Daniels said, the enemy knows this. He sends distractions and hang-ups to throw us off course. But sometimes we are our own worst enemies because we create these huge, unattainable goals without a true plan or an outline on how we plan to accomplish it. We try to go after too much in big chunks instead of baby steps. For example, maybe you set a goal to lose 15 pounds and you're going to go to the gym every day. So January 1st, you head to the gym, try to do the hardest workout possible, and by day 3, you fall off. Why? Because you didn't take the baby steps to reach the goal. In special education, we give our students yearly or annual goals. But we also give them objectives or stepping stones to reach throughout the year that build up to this goal so that they're successful. In the sermon, DIARIES Daniels preached about consistency. He referenced a book titled The Compound Effect. Now, I never heard of this book, but when he quoted something from the book in his sermon, I knew I needed it. I knew it was the key to helping me build habits that would change into lifestyle. Now, before I read the quote, let's define habits and lifestyle. A habit is a behavior done with little or no thought. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is check your phone. It's a habit. Lifestyle is the way that you live your life. All of your habits and routines put together. So, if you want to change your life, change your habits. Now back to the compound effect. In his book, Darren Hardy stated that where there are small, consistent actions or changes repeated over time, it will lead to significant and exponential results. Now you can see why I was drawn to this book. The idea of taking baby steps to reach a goal. Small, consistent changes is exactly what I said would make me successful this year. So making small, consistent changes is what I did. And most people will probably say that this is just habit stacking. And I guess you could say this was a form of habit stacking, but it was habit stacking unintentionally by just making a few subtle changes here and there. I started calling my grandma for recipes and cooking with her whenever we were together. I bought a water bottle and filled it with water every day, even if I didn't drink it. taking one thing and working on it until it becomes a habit and then adding on. So in essence, I did this, but this year I wanted to make a change that was built on an ideal routine, on the desired habits that would help me reach my goals. And then each day I worked on the routine and had a checklist to keep me accountable so that I could have a healthier, organized, more productive life overall. Now, if you're someone who gets overwhelmed easily, I wouldn't suggest this. But if you're like me and want to see exponential growth in the shortest amount of time, this will work for you. Now, like I said before, taking small baby steps is key. So my mapped out schedule with my checklist are my small baby steps, my small changes daily that are going to compound and help me reach my goals at the end of 2024. And while this simple routine may seem insignificant to some, the discipline and structure is everything for me. It keeps me focused, accountable, and on track to reach my goals. And even if I don't reach them this year, I truly believe the small, consistent changes will compound. And one day I'll wake up and be like, wow, God, look at what you've done because I stayed consistent. If you haven't read the book, The Compound Effect, or you haven't heard the sermon, you should definitely check them out, and I'm going to link them down below. So you may be wondering, girl, but why 4:30? Back when I was waking up at 5:45, I would have less than 15 minutes for coffee and devotion, and then rush to get out of the house no later than 7. Take the hour drive to drop off my child and make it to work, barely walking through the door at 8:10. And agitated because of the lack of quiet time that I had before I had to engage with my team and hundreds of children. The 4:30 to 6 time allows me to pour into myself before I have to be a mom, a teacher, a boss, a friend, a daughter. Now, based on your life and your work schedule, you can build a schedule and habits that work for you. I also don't need that much sleep, so going to bed at 10 works for me, while it might not be enough for others. The whole point is to build habits and routines that will make you successful in making small, consistent changes that you'll eventually see compound. Another part of the system I built for myself for this year is looking at my year as a whole and then breaking it down into quarters and then breaking it down into months and then into weeks. My planner is crazy thick, but I built it in a way that it was going to keep me consistent and also help me stay organized. So it starts with my yearly goals, and then it breaks down into quarters, and then each quarter is broken down into the month, the week, and the day. So at the beginning of the quarter, I set my goals based off of my yearly goals. And then for that specific month, I have goals that will help me reach my quarterly goals, that will help me reach my yearly goals. And then day by day, building to my weekly goals. So it's a very tedious system I put in place, but I am so determined to see a change in my life this year. And if you want to know more about this, comment down below and I will explain it in detail. But the planner I made, I've talked about in my other video. It is just something I printed up and created from Canva based off of my individual needs. And it has been helping me so much. And I actually started this routine back in October. And at this point, my body and my mind wakes up even before my alarm clock. And I just lay there until the alarm goes off. And it's been keeping me so organized and efficient. And the routine is even helping my son, who has a lot of energy and takes a lot to wind him down at night. So like I said, I'm going to link the book and the sermon down below, but I'm going to leave you with this quote from the book. Small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals a radical difference. And I cannot wait to see the radical difference that happens in 2024 for me and for you. Thanks for watching. you.